Junior, I'm the senior pastor of our church here at the One Church. We welcome you here for this forum, sponsored by, of course, Alpha Kappa Alpha and also Delta Sigma. And we thank God for all those candidates who are here. I'm just going to let you know that we do have a staff of people that are here to serve you if you need something. But this is a very important time in the life of our city, our state, and our nation. And furthermore, it's a perfect time for what's going on in our global world. I want to commend those who have put this together. One of our members here is Judge Latasha McGill-Clayton. We thank God for her, for contacting us and say, okay, can we do this? One of the things about our church, I do believe our church have to be involved at a level because we serve so many people. So for all of you ladies, God bless you. Thank you for what you do. We thank God for the panel that's here. It's going to be a very fruitful evening. But at the end of the day, we must all remember that we're all Americans and we all have to work with a common thread for the common good, not for some, but for all. So let's bow and let's pray. Heavenly Father God, we just thank you again, God, for another expression of your sweet love over our lives. And God, you've already sanctioned this day to happen. So God, we ask that your wisdom would prevail. Let there be, God, a spirit of unity, even in the midst of, God, discussions. Let it be a foundation for understanding. And even at the end of this particular gathering, let it be said, God, it was well worth it. It was good. It was awesome. But then, God, what's my part? How do I play? What's my area? And so at the end of the day, God, we will all come out as winners. Winners as a city, as a state, as a nation, and as a global world. We love you. We trust you. It's in Jesus' powerful name we pray. And we say amen. God bless all of you. Have a great evening.
Welcome. Welcome to the United to Democracy Candidate Forum. I am Amy T. Francis, President of Xi Alpha Omega Chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. It is an honor to stand here with my beautiful Greek sister, Karen P. Dorsa, President of the Houston Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We are excited to see so many of you here, united in our shared commitment to democracy and civic engagement. As we welcome the candidates, we acknowledge the significance of this election. It is more than candidates or campaigns. It is about the values we stand for and the future we want for our communities. Each candidate today represents a voice that can shape policies and drive change in accordance with the principles of democracy, justice, and equality. Our collaboration today represents more than a moment. It reflects our ongoing dedication to working together. Together, we amplify our voices, demonstrating that our sororities are deeply committed to fostering civic responsibility and active engagement. Now we will hear from President Dorsa.
Thank you, President Francis. What profound words to set the stage for today's forum. I am Karen Durso, President of the Houston Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And I would also like to welcome you to today's forum. We are honored to participate in such an important event in collaboration with our D9 sisters, showing our solidarity in preparing our community for the upcoming election. In Delta, social action is in our DNA. From the suffrage march of 1913 to the voter suppression lawsuit in 2023, Delta sorors around the world stand up to injustice and speak out in support of the underserved in our community. Today, as we approach one of the most pivotal elections in our country's history, we bring some of the candidates who will shape our future before you. Please use this time to understand what their plans are and how those plans impact your community so that you can make an informed decision in November. Again, thank you for coming and enjoy the forum. Now we will hear from the emergency response team, Angela Jones, with a safety briefing.
Good afternoon. As Sarah Dorso mentioned, my name is Angela Jones, and I'm the chair of the emergency response team in the Houston Alumni Chapter. I want to thank the planning team for United for Democracy for this opportunity to provide you with a few safety tips as we reside in this facility for the next few hours. In the event of an emergency, it is important to remain calm and follow the instructions of the leaders of this event. Please make note of the safety exits in this room that are behind us and to our right, to my right. The facility is equipped with several fire extinguishers. There's one located just to my right on the other side of the stage. There is one just outside this room near the mural that goes along that long wall. And there's also just past these exit doors in the executive office. There are also fire extinguishers there. There also is a AED as well as a first aid kit here on the campus. If there is anyone in the building who is CPR certified, you may be asked to assist in the event of an emergency. If there is a medical emergency, please dial 911. I have been told by the representatives of this facility, if there is a fire emergency, we don't need to dial 911. They have a system here that automatically ties in to Houston Fire Department, and we actually might hear some voice, an automated voice that will give us instructions in the event that there is a fire. Please be alert to and report any situation that may represent a threat to the safety of anyone, including yourself. If you see something, we encourage you to say something. And finally, as the risk of COVID remains, remember to take everyday precautions to prevent the spread of germs. Please stay safe and healthy. Universally, we remind you to always wash your hands. Wearing of masks is still a reasonable option for those that prefer to do so. Be mindful of being in situations where social distancing may be required. Consider getting the flu and COVID vaccines. And also, if you feel unwell, stay home, get tested for COVID to protect yourselves and others. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Beatrice Randall, the first Vice President and Program Chairman for Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Xi Alpha Omega Chapter. And it is a privilege to stand before you today as we gather not just as representatives of our esteemed organizations, but as a united force dedicated to the betterment of our community. I would like to take a moment to recognize the incredible hard work and commitment of our steering committee members. Their names are listed in your digital program. Will all of our steering committee members please stand? Your tireless efforts in planning, organizing, and executing this event have been nothing short of inspiring and amazing. Thank you for your passion and dedication to our mission and for ensuring that we have a dynamic platform to engage with our candidates and discuss the issues that matter most to our community. The collaboration between Alpha Kappa Alpha and Delta Sigma Theta is a testament to our shared values and commitment to service. Together, we are stronger, and today's forum is a shining example of what we can achieve when we unite our voices and resources. Our organizations have a rich history of advocacy and leadership, and this event serves as a reminder that we are all in this together, working towards a common goal, the upliftment and empowerment of our community. We also want to thank our generous underwriters for helping make this event possible. Will a representative for each organization please stand? The Houston Voting Initiative, the Missouri City chapter of the Links Incorporated, and Teach for America. Thank you all for being here today and for your unwavering commitment to our community. Let us make the most of this opportunity and continue to work together for a brighter future. We will now recognize our special guests who are here with us today.
Good afternoon. I'm Carolyn Jones-Darville. I'm the Social Action Chair for the Houston Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Incorporated. I have the honor of presenting some of our special guests to you today. The Alpha Kappa Alpha South Central Regional Director is attending today's event, and that's Dr. Sean Emerson Simmons. Thank you for joining us. We are honored to have one elected national and one regional elected officer with us today from Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. Join me in greeting Sarah Nicole Deloche. She is Delta Sigma Theta Southwest Region member of the National Finance Team. In addition, I would like to acknowledge our chair of the Southwest Regional Nominating Committee, and that is Sarah Tina Marie Jones-Green. If there are any members in the audience that have been appointed to national committees from either organization, please stand and let us acknowledge you. Are there any regional appointees in the audience? Any on the state level? Thank you. And we also have some very special guests with us today. Our undergraduates are with us today. They have joined with the graduate chapters to make this event today. So undergraduates, please stand. Thank you so much for joining today. We appreciate each and every one of you here with us today. You are all special guests. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jasmine Turner, and I'm the Social Action Chair for the Houston Metropolitan Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Incorporated. I will be introducing one of our moderators. Najee Rutledge earned her Bachelor of Arts degree in English from Spelman College and her law degree from Harvard Law School. She began her legal career as a civil litigator specializing in labor and employment law at Baker Botts following her federal judicial clerkship. She served as a prosecuting attorney for the Harris County District Attorney's Office in Houston for 3.5 years. In 2009, she was appointed to serve as an associate judge for the City of Houston, where she served for 12 years. She has served as a law professor at South Texas College of Law Houston for over 20 years. Her experience as a professor, scholar, former judge, and former prosecutor has given her a unique perspective on criminal law, criminal justice, and reform. She frequently speaks and writes in areas of race, domestic violence, employment law, criminal law and procedure, criminal justice reform, constitutional law, and crime victim compensation. She also serves as an opinion columnist for USA Today, where she serves on the board of contributors. Her over 24 opinion writings have appeared in USA Today, The Hill, and BET. She has been interviewed by the New York Times, LA Times, MSNBC, NBC, CBS, The Al Sharpton Show, Business Insider, NPR, and several local stations. She is an active member of Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church, a 5-year member of the Houston chapter of Jack and Jill of America, and is a 32-year and lifetime member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Incorporated, and is currently an active member in Xi Alpha Omega chapter. One of her greatest roles is serving as wife and mother. Please help me welcome Najee Rutledge.
Good afternoon. I'm Chara Bowie with Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Xi Alpha Omega chapter, and I'm the chairman of the Social Advocate for Justice Committee. Thank you. Before we go over our 3 golden rules for today's United for Democracy Candidate Forum, I want to take a minute and acknowledge all of the elected officials in the room. So if you are an elected official, please stand and be recognized. Okay, so we're going to pause for just a second, and if you want to come over here.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Latasha McGill-Clayton, and I am the chairperson with the Alpha Kappa Omega chapter over the Connection and Social Action Committee. And I will be, go ahead. And I will be introducing our second moderator, Tina Marie Jones Green. Give it up, give it up. And introducing our moderator today, I will begin with her favorite quote. If I can help somebody as I travel along the way, if I can help somebody with a word or a song, if I can help somebody from doing wrong, no, my living shall not be in vain. Mahalia Jackson. Tina Marie Jones Green, encourager, motivator, leader, trainer, teacher, and inspirer. Tina Marie Jones Green is a graduate of North Texas State University with a Bachelor of Arts in Science and Political Science. She also received her teacher certification from Texas Southern University in business education. Tina Marie is retired from the State Farm Insurance with over 30 years. She is a trained professional model in which she received many rewards. She is known across the state for her still life mannequin and paper dolls presentations. She began public speaking at a very young age, the age of 5 years old, and it's my understanding she has spoken on many platforms throughout the country. Her passion is encouraging and mentoring the youth, especially the young ladies. Tina Marie is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, in which she is the past chapter president of the Houston Alumni Chapter for the years 2017 to 2019. She has received as the inaugural chair for the Delta Gems Youth Program for girls 14 through 18 years old, and the inaugural chair for the LEAD program, and she presently served as an inaugural Delta Pearl in the Southwest Regional Leadership Program. As you all can see, she is a natural-born leader who leads by example, and social action is her passion. She has passionately worked with serving the community and has received numerous awards and many certificates for her leadership abilities and community service, including the Presidential Choice Award. Tina Marie is married to Al J. Green. She has 1 daughter and 3 handsome grandsons. She is a longtime member of St. John Missionary Baptist Church, where she serves as a deaconess. She was the first woman to serve as chair of the Pastoral Search Committee in her home church. Tina Marie loves God and knows that without him in her life, she could not do anything. And ending with her favorite scripture, Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Ladies and gentlemen, our second moderator, Ms. Tina Marie Jones Green.
Everyone, let's just give another round of applause to our two moderators for this afternoon. All right, so the 3 golden rules for today's forum. So we have 3 and they're golden, okay? All right, so the first one is adhere to the time limits given for each question asked. The candidates will have 1 minute to answer any given question. Timekeepers are located in the center of the 3rd row. Timekeepers, where are you? There you go. So those are the timekeepers. And the timekeepers will hold up signs that will indicate the time you have remaining to answer the questions. And then they will hold up a sign that says stop, and that's when you know your time is up. Golden rule number 2, please do not interrupt another candidate. The goal of this forum is to remain professional, allow all candidates their uninterrupted time to speak. And the 3rd golden rule is, when answering questions, please focus on your own accomplishments, your political ideologies, your policies, your goals and objectives that will make Houston a better place for all of us to live, work, and play. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I believe it's time for us to get started. My name is Najri Mathis Rutledge, but first I'd like to call on Holly Taylor. Are you in the building? Okay, when she comes, I'd like to recognize her. She's running a bit late, but she's running for the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. So, ladies and gentlemen, for this round, everyone will have the opportunity to answer the same question. We need you to state your name, position you are seeking, and then answer the question. You will have 1 minute to answer your question. This is a 2-parter. Given the current polarization in Congress, how would you work across party lines to build consensus on critical issues like healthcare, climate change, or economic reform? And how can you provide a specific example demonstrating how you would address one of these critical challenges? Mr. Brown, you are the first on my list. Please.
Yes, hello everyone. My name's Ted Brown. I am the Libertarian Party candidate for U.S. Senator, and indeed I'm the better Ted running against Ted Cruz and Colin Allred, and there is more than 2 candidates on the race. As a libertarian, I believe in personal freedom, economic freedom, and a non-interventionist foreign policy. I believe in as little government as possible, but the main goal is to protect individual rights against the government, which is always abusing them. And I definitely favor police reform and judicial reform because of that. As for the question about consensus in Congress, it's kind of hard to get that when there are Team Red and Team Blue seem to have different perceptions of reality. That's why we need alternatives, alternative parties like the Libertarian Party and the Green Party. You can't just have the echo chamber of the Democrats and Republicans who are really not going to come together on very many issues. So that's why we need alternative voices in Congress, both House and Senate, and that's why please look into the Libertarian Party alternative. Thank you
so much. let's see, Tracy Adams.
It's really Tracy Andrus, A-N-D-R-U-S.
I apologize, Andrus.
No problem. Good afternoon. My name is Tracy Andrus. I'm a native of Crowley, Louisiana. I am also a resident of Marshall, Texas. I am the director of the Lee P. Brown Criminal Justice Institute at Wiley College, the home of the great debaters. And I want to say to you guys, first of all, thank you for being here. And I just answering this question, I believe that there has to be consensus across the aisle with anything that we do right now. We know that our Congress is divided. We know that we have to work on climate change, and we also have to work on green energy. And one of the things that I would do is actually offer greater incentives for people to buy electric cars if I'm elected to the U.S. Senate. I am running for the U.S. Senate, and I look forward to getting your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Filler?
Well, good afternoon. My name is Peter Filler. I'm the Democratic nominee for U.S. House, Texas District 2, and it's an honor for me to be here with y'all, Najari, and the United for Democracy Forum, everyone listening to this message. So a little bit about myself. I'm from New York, and my dad was a Navy lieutenant, so I learned core values like honesty, ethics, integrity. So that was my start with my father, Wallace J. Filler. So I started with that. I went to the College of Forestry and studied resource management. So to answer your question, I'm an educator, and so that's what I do every day. I unite my class, so I would do the same up there in DC, working on the, say, Energy and Commerce Committee. I worked on biofuels, so bringing biofuels into our energy grid. Of course, common sense solutions that are already there. We'll innovate more, like solar energy, wind energy. I'm all about that. So if you want a true leader, vote for Peter Filler for U.S. House, and you can find me peterfiller.com, and I look forward to seeing you at the polls. Thank you very much.
Mr. Duncan?
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Vince Duncan. Hey, I'm demonstrating in action what it means to be a nonpartisan candidate. I started this mission I'm on 10 years ago, when I realized that there was not a Democratic or Republican solution to the problems that our communities, country, and nations are following. I see year after year, they go to Washington to fight for their group. Nobody's fighting for us. So 10 years ago, I created a political platform. I passed around a nominating petition. I've been on every sidewalk, every park, asking you what you want. So this is what I would bring to the table. I'd bring a candidate who is responsible only to the very people that matter the most, you. So that's what I bring. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kane.
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Caroline Kane. I am the nominee for Congressional District 7, which is just north of here. I'm a small business owner. I am a Westbury High School graduate, so this is my stomping ground. My district starts about 3 miles north of here. My priorities in DC are to put Americans first. What's happening right now is so many of our tax dollars are going to fund illegals that are in our country, and I know that that's a difficult topic. And so many more are being sent overseas to fund really other people's borders and protect other people's borders, and not worrying about the American citizens, which are really struggling right now. We are in a dire situation where the middle class has lost $15.5 trillion since 2020. And so I want your tax dollars to stay in your pocket and in America. So those are the things that I stand for. I want to be a candidate of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Thank you so much.
And work for just you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Marquette Scott.
Hi, I'm Marquetta Green Scott, and I am the Democratic nominee for Texas Congressional District 22. While I am Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Iowa Colony, it's a nonpartisan seat. I want to take this nonpartisan way of governing to Congress. When I vote strictly on issues. I don't care how is it going to affect my constituents? How is it going to affect my city? Not 5 years down the line, but 20 years down the line. And that's what I want to take to Congress, because right now we don't have it. That's why I'm running, and that's why I'm asking for support. Thank you.
Dana Steele.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Dana Steele. I am running for the United States Congress in Texas District 36, which includes most of Southeast Texas all the way to Louisiana. I am a fifth-generation Texan, third-generation Houstonian, former Missouri City resident, and proud Dulles Viking 1976. Go Vikings. I'm going to do what I've done with every successful business I've run, and that's the first thing you do is find a mentor who is doing what you want to do successfully. An example that you asked for, AOC. AOC wanted to pass a bill to help our veterans, so she reached across the aisle to a Republican, and not just any Republican. She reached out to Ted Cruz, and they got that bill passed by working together. And with my remaining time, I want to remind you, black women and women under the age of 30 are going to win this election. Please make sure you and your loved ones vote.
Ms. McDonald?
Good afternoon. Thank you. My name is Melissa McDonough, and I'm running for Texas Congressional District 38. 38 is wholly in Harris County. It runs from south of I-10 to as far as the Montgomery County line. We are as far west as Katy and as far east as inside the Loop. So it's a very interesting looking map. I am a wife of 30 years, a business owner of 29 years. I'm a realtor and I own a real estate brokerage. I have two brilliant boys, both serving us in the Department of Defense. I have been working on the Hill on my own time and dime since 2004 to push legislation, specifically in affordable housing, affordable health care, and consumer protection. So when you're talking about the 3 points that you're wanting us to chat about, I've already been pushing legislation for the good. We keep doing, I want to just do this on a full-time basis. How do we reach across the aisle? We are purple, because when you put red and blue together, you get a purple solution. And they've asked me to stop, so we'll send more later.
Thank you all for your answers. This next question will be for the United States Senator race candidates. Oh.
It's okay.
I apologize.
It's okay.
Your name is, everyone, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Is it Avery Ayers?
Yes, ma'am.
Please take your 1 minute.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. I'm Avery Ayers, a write-in Republican candidate for U.S. District 38. The district has 32 zip codes in it, so it's fairly large. I'm also a veteran, a paralegal, and an ex-offender. So I firmly believe that the first thing we need to do is cut taxes, eliminate unnecessary regulations, so our small businesses can grow, because that's who hires in the district. Secondly, I'll fight to secure our borders, ensure law enforcement does what they need to be doing transparently, and give them the tools they need. Furthermore, it's up to you, the constituents. You know what you want, you know what you don't want. My job is to educate you, be truthful and transparent, and work with what I have to do to make sure you get the best that you need in America.
Thank you all for your answers, and my apologies again for the oversight. For this next question will be for the United States Senator race candidates, Ted Brown and Tracy Andrus. Very good. You will have 1 minute each to answer. What, if any, steps do you think the federal government should take to address climate change and promote environmental sustainability?
Okay, thank you. As far as environmental responsibility, I think that, we have to look at the way that our manufacturers are emitting carbon, fluorocarbons, into our ozone layer. As we know, in Phoenix, Arizona this year, there's been over 65 days that they've had over 115-degree temperatures. And part of that is because there are corporations that's releasing a lot of fluorocarbons into our atmosphere, and what it's doing is actually damaging our ozone layer. So I recommend that we start using more solar energy, that we stop using, fluorocarbons, and that we start working with alternative green energy so that we can save our ozone layer. Thank you.
All right. Well, certainly climate change is definitely a problem. The problem also is, though, that a lot of the solutions that are brought forward don't really seem to do much to cool the planet or to affect climate change. It seems to be more of the proposals are to damage the Western economies and our standard of living, instead of addressing the issue of what's wrong with the planet and ignoring other countries that have extreme amounts of pollution and emissions that are not being addressed. They seem to be ignored. Basically, I do believe in a free market of energy where certainly there are fossil fuels and solar and wind power, but if you want to avoid carbon emissions, the only power source for that is nuclear power. And many countries use that, including France has most of their energy from nuclear power. And I think that there needs to be less regulation of that so that there could be more options to choose a better environmental situation.
Thank you for your answers. This next question will be for the United States Representative, District 38 race candidates, Melissa McDonough and Avery Ayers. You will have 1 minute each to answer. What is your position on federal abortion regulations and reproductive health care? And what specific actions would you take to support or reform current policies?
You go first.
I'll go first. Hi, I'm Melissa. So as far as our health care, one thing is having health insurance does not give us health care. Women's health care. Black and brown women are more susceptible to maternal mortality than any other demographic. Women's health care in particular is what we do have to focus on. Body autonomy is the debate. Do you have the right and the choice to make your medical decisions with you and your physician? The government already puts together criteria that the doctors must pass and adhere to. They must take an oath. That decision, whether it's child planning, your family planning, IVF, abortion, your own health care of when you should have a C-section with your baby, whether you're doing cancer treatments, whether you're having to go through other medical situations that require your family to be involved, especially that we have to consider the whole family. So those decisions get made between me and my physician. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When it comes to abortion, and I do believe that women do have a right to their own body, I'm a firm believer in that, but we need to rewrite our health care laws because when it comes to abortion, what if the child is stuck in the fallopian tube? What if the child is stillborn? Where do we draw the line? We have to be responsible, not only as women, but as men as well, because we work together. We're not separate on this planet, we work together. And my last point is we need to start teaching our males to protect their seed and be responsible, because we keep putting the responsibility on young ladies' shoulders and it takes two to tango. The law needs to be reinforced to better protect our future. You ladies carry the future of America and you need to be protected.
Thank you all for your participation in today's forum. You may exit the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please give these candidates a round of applause for their commitment of being with us here this afternoon. Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. I didn't get the memo. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm sorry I mispronounced that name.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all are fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Time no see.
I don't know, but we'll get your name and it will be okay. I don't know, perhaps halfway.
Candidates, you can have a seat. You can have a seat. Okay, we're going to go to round two. For this round, everyone will have the opportunity to answer the same question. You will state your name, the position you're seeking, and then you will answer the question. You will have a total of 1 minute to give the answer. If you were not here earlier, here to the center, you will see the timekeeper give you the time. So, question number 1. How would you work to ensure equitable funding for public schools across Texas, particularly in underfunded districts? Additionally, how would you believe school choice and voucher programs affect this equitable funding? And we will start to my left with Representative Reynolds.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Ron Reynolds, State Representative for District 27. And I want to say unequivocally, public education should be our #1 priority. Our schools are underfunded. Texas ranks currently 43rd out of 50th in funding per pupil. I am adamantly against vouchers. I have fought against vouchers. I helped kill vouchers. And we don't need vouchers in our public schools. We need to give our teachers a pay raise. We need to fully fund our public schools. The only thing that our Constitution requires us to do in this state is to fund our schools. And unfortunately, Texas has failed in that responsibility. In order for our children to compete in a global economy, they need great public schools. We don't need to give corporate welfare to subsidize the wealthy to go to private schools on our public tax dollars. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, my name is Claudio Gutierrez, and I'm running for Texas House District 147. It's a very big part of Houston. It covers most of downtown, midtown, and then it heads over to Hobby Airport. I was also born in Nicaragua, which is the fifth flag over there between Angola and France, which is a leftist country. It has been ruined by leftist policies, and that's why I'm running in a district that's very blue. Regarding education, I know that it's one of the most critical issues facing our state and the nation in general. I am pro-public schools, and I'm also going to be personally invested in education because I plan to donate my monthly salary to a different school in the district once I'm elected to the Texas House. And regarding the big billion-dollar endowments that the public universities are sitting on, tuition has tripled, but freshman classes have not tripled in size. So I'm going to start taking a good look at them and consider defunding some initiatives if they don't start using those endowments. So Claudia Gutierrez, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lee Sharp. I'm running for Texas House of Representatives, District 137. If you start at Westheimer and Chimney Rock, go out just past Beltway, and then do a half moon down around Houston Christian University, that's my district. I'm a libertarian. That means whichever party you're in, I'm not the evil other guy. And that's part of our problem. Teams are killing us. And we need to look at the individual, because you can't just lump everybody in a group into just one big pile and say they're all the same, because they're not. I love this question. My wife is a teacher at Wisdom High School. I install networks at charter schools and rural school districts all over Texas. I've seen what works, I've seen what doesn't, and it's not money, it's accountability. We have an amazing charter school program in Texas, and in Houston, it's been growing like crazy because of what happened with HISD. I don't understand all the question about school choice, because we have choice now. It's whether or not we want a little more.
Thank
And
you
that's a
so
good
much.
question.
Hey y'all, Lauren Ashley Simmons, the Democratic nominee for State Representative in House District 146. So I'm gonna start off by saying I am absolutely anti-voucher, because what vouchers will do will destroy the school that my children go to. My kids go to school in their community. My kids go to school in 3rd Ward. We're already under-resourced and underfunded, and having children leave the public school system to take, and those dollars follow them to a private school system. I'm not gonna subsidize somebody else's education when we have schools that need funding here. So let's start there. Speaking on the school funding issue, Texas has a very antiquated funding model. So much so that the Supreme Court has even said we need to figure out a better funding system. The problem is because when you're trying to weaken a system, you're not going to put the resources that are needed in it so you can point to it and say, okay, the system doesn't work. We have billions of dollars in surplus money in this state that we refuse to put into education. And when I go to serve with Rep. Reynolds, I will be standing alongside of him fighting for those funds to be in our schools.
Thank you.
My name is Marisela Jimenez. I am representing District 150 and running for the first time, not as a career politician, but as a concerned citizen. I have a background in business and economics, so I understand supply and demand. And the way I answer this question is the way I run businesses, build businesses, and manage talent. I believe in holding every one of us accountable, so raise your hand if you have looked at your tax property bill as of recently. And when you manage your tax property bill and you look at your invoice, then you understand oversight, accountability, and transparency. It's time that our parents get involved. It's time that our board of trustees work with the parents, and it's time that our teachers have a voice. So I do not support school vouchers. It is a scam, and it will continue to rip off parents and our bottom line pockets. So say no to school vouchers.
Thank you so much. Here to my right.
Hello, I'm Joseph L. Trahan. I am the Texas State Senate District 15 candidate. Let's talk about schools and education. I'm not a career politician, never run for office before. I'm a businessman. I'm a businessman whose family's been in the district for 60 years doing two things: running businesses, employing people, and helping build community. You can look me up, you can Google it, and you can see that I've gone into inner city schools where the students were not coming out job ready. They didn't have the skills to be self-sustaining at all. So we went in and put in technology development program with them, trained the students, Cisco, Microsoft, and got them jobs in the Fortune 500. They earned those jobs, and they got their college paid for. I want to do that all over the district. I want to do that all over the state because I like outcomes-based solutions. Joseph L. Trahan for Senate District 15.
Thank you so much. Next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brett Robinson, and I'm running for State Representative District 130, and I ran for two reasons. I ran to restore our reproductive freedom and protect our public education. I am a product of public education. I went to Black Elementary, Goodson Middle School, and Cypress Woods High School, which is in Northwest Harris County. And right now, my philosophy as running for state representative is very simple. I want to make sure that the next generation behind me has the same opportunities, if not more, than I had. And right now, I'm not seeing that. I went to Goodson Middle School, as I already mentioned. I had a bus route. That bus route no longer exists anymore because Cy-Fair ISD had to cut funding for buses. Now, every school district in Texas is going through this financial crisis manufactured by Governor Abbott. You need to tell your friends and family that Governor Abbott is holding $4 billion of our education funding hostage, that the Texas legislature, which is not allowed to go into debt, has already allocated that funding. When they spend money, they mean it, and our schools need that funding. And I am against vouchers 100%. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, hello. My name is Leah C.S. Simmons, and I am running in House District 76. This is my first time running, and I'm also a minority such as yourselves. And I grew up not knowing very much English, and it was difficult for me. I had to take speech impediment class, and it was a hardship. I had to fail first grade. I mean, I didn't know a bit of English at all. And there's a lot of constituents that are black and Hispanic and Asian and Indian and Muslim, and we're all in the same boat together. But we all deserve a second chance in life, and if we just focus on studying and just doing our homework and maybe have homeschool groups and having churches getting involved, maybe we can create our own system of some kind of money that we can allocate to ourselves through our hard work, and we don't need the government to tell us what to do. So I'm for helping both sides, and I'm glad to be up here. It's an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kathy Chang. I am the Democratic nominee for Texas Senate District 17. Let me just say this. I am who I am today as a cleaner, cleaning people's legal problems, from complex divorce cases to mental health issues to complex commercial litigation because of my teachers. I am an American by choice, not by birth. That means I took the citizenship. When I first came to the United States, I realized, oh my gosh, why do we not put more emphasis on teachers? Because that's the backbone of our community. I am strongly against vouchers or any school choice, because when you take those funds, you're taking those funds away from public education and you're taking those resources from our students. No child's education should be based on their zip code. Everyone should have equal education.
Thank you so much. And I would like, oh, hello. How are you? And I'm not certain if you heard the question earlier. Okay, yes, ma'am. How would you work to ensure equitable funding for public schools across Texas, particularly in underfunded districts? Additionally, how do you believe school choice and voucher programs affect this equitable funding? And you have 1 minute to answer.
Hello, my name is Jolanda Jones. I'm the state representative for House District 147. I'm against vouchers. I'm against charter schools. We fought very hard to defeat vouchers in this last legislative session. Vouchers will take our public tax dollars and give them to private schools, and they will subsidize the wealthy. I will do everything that I can do to stop vouchers. It means the end of public education as we know it, and the people that mostly use public education are us. We should not have to get our kids on buses. I will fight hard. I will work with my sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, and the D9 to do everything that we need to do to kill vouchers in the state of Texas. It is a priority by Greg Abbott, and the Democrats just met day before yesterday and yesterday on the issue of vouchers so that we can do this next session coming up like we did last session. Again, my name is Jolanda Jones. I am from the hood. I understand the value of public education. Thank you. And this is my granddaughter. I'm on grandmommy duty.
Okay. Well, guess what? I do have an additional question for both of you, State Representative District 147 race candidates, and Representative Jolanda Jones and Claudio Gutierrez. You'll have 1 minute again to answer this question. How will you address the need for additional mental health services and resources in our community?
Thank you. Mental health is a very critical issue facing Houston and the state of Texas in general. Just last week, a friend of mine took her life because of undiagnosed underlying issues. And I think that they're a big source of homelessness here in Houston. It's something that the state of Texas should address, give a lot of importance and emphasis to, and it's something that I wholly support as a future representative here. If it's not addressed at the local level in the home, the state definitely has a necessity to take a look at individual cases and to provide resources, help for individuals and whole communities as a whole. So, Claudio Gutierrez, Texas House 147.
Thank you, sir.
Again, my name is Jolanda Jones. I'm the state representative for House District 147. One of the problems we have with providing resources for mental health is that the Republicans in the Texas House refuse to expand Medicaid. If we had an expansion of Medicaid, then everybody would have the money that they needed in order to get the mental health services that they need. As a child of a father who committed suicide, and I was with my dad when he committed suicide, there were not sufficient mental health services for him. So it is very, very, very important. And I myself have used mental health services, because when your father blows his brains out with you in the room with him, and it profoundly affects the trajectory of your family's life, you understand that mental health is important. So I'm gonna say it one more again in Ebonics, that the Republicans in Texas have refused to expand Medicare, which has caused families, especially in poverty, to not have access to the sufficient mental health services that they need.
Thank you so much. And I would like to say to all of you, thank you for your participation in being with us today. And at this time, you can stand and exit to the left of the stage. Thank you so much. Please give them a round of applause.
That's fine if you want to be a little closer.
Just make sure you're near a mic so you don't have to fight to get to another mic.
Why don't you get closer? For this round, is everyone seated? Very good. For this round, these are our contested races. So the first two questions will be for the Harris County Attorney race candidates. I don't believe Ms. Smith is here, so I'm going to ask this to Mr. County Attorney Christian Menifee. I would like you to please introduce yourself. You're going to have 1 minute to answer. The first question: how do you plan to work with other local, state, and federal agencies to address legal issues that affect Harris County residents?
Hey everybody, I'm Christian Menifee. I'm the Harris County Attorney. I was elected in 2020 and took office as the youngest person and the first African American to serve in this role. I'm incredibly excited to be here with you today. Since I've been in this office, the name of the game has been very simple. If you do wrong by the communities that I love, if you do wrong by black and brown folks, if you do wrong by under-resourced neighborhoods, I don't care if you're the governor, CEO of a company, I don't care what kind of power you have, I will see you in court. And in this role, that is exactly how we have done things. I've partnered with every level of government. We partnered with the state of Texas, the Texas Department of Insurance, when a title company was going after under-resourced black and brown neighborhoods and taking homes out from under them. We sued them. I partnered with the federal government. When they tried to expand I-45 highway more deeply into areas like Independence Heights and Fifth Wards, we sued the state of Texas. And I partnered with the city of Houston on a regular basis. Look, in short, I have no problem fighting for the things that I care about, and I'll continue to do that every single day in this job. Thank you.
The second question: how will you handle legal challenges related to public health, particularly in response to recent health crises and emergency disasters?
Since I've been in this role, I got in this office January 1 of 2021 when we were smack dab in the middle of COVID. Our local government put a mask mandate in place, and immediately Governor Abbott put a ban on all mask mandates. This was right as kids were going back into school, so we sued them. And we won at 2 different levels of court. Ultimately went to the Texas Supreme Court. We were unsuccessful, but again, it shows that we were not unwilling to fight. Some of you may be familiar with vaping. That's going on in the schools. Juul e-cigarettes was marketing their products to kids in a deceptive way. We sued them. We got a $20 million settlement. That money went back into Harris County to do programs to ensure that less kids are vaping. We'll handle public health the same way we handle voting rights, the same way we handle environmental justice, which is we're going to tackle it head on. And I think this might be my last time speaking, so I got to shout my baby out. He back there in the back, Gabriel. Calm down, baby. But I'm very excited to be y'all county attorney, and we will continue to leverage this office to do right for the people who have typically not had a voice in Texas politics. Thank you.
The next set of questions will be for the Harris County District Attorney's race candidates Dana Simmons and Sean Tier. Please introduce yourself, answer the question. You will have 1 minute to give the answer. Over the last decade, we have seen an increase in diversion programs such as drug court, veterans court, and pretrial interventions for cases involving things like shoplifting, misdemeanor, marijuana, and DWI. Do you believe these programs have a positive impact, particularly on what some would characterize as the school to prison pipeline? And do you plan to limit or expand these programs in the future?
First off, my name is Dan Simons, and I'm running to be the first Thurgood Marshall, Texas Southern University District Attorney in Harris County history. And I absolutely do believe that the diversions programs do work. We need to continue to monitor and see what the rate is people reoffending versus not, and see if there are areas that we can always improve. In the district attorney's office, we can always strive to do better. We can always strive to serve you better. This is what the goal is. Growing up homeless and in foster care, I didn't have a lot of options in life, and I can definitely tell that there are a lot of people out there like that. And I want to make sure nobody gets caught up in the system. I want to help everybody the best way that I can, and running an independent district attorney's office of all politics will best serve you. You give me the opportunity, we will do everything we can to make sure that I'm not there to create career criminals, but I am there to prosecute criminals that make crime a career. I'm here to help you. I'm here to do what I can for you. So thank you.
Thank you, and I apologize, Mr. Simons.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Sean Tier, and I'm your Democratic nominee for Harris County DA. I spent 12 years in that office. I have been a part of putting together some of the diversion programs that are currently in existence. They're great if you like patting yourself on the back and saying we're doing diversions, but they're not attacking the root cause of crime. They are not going far enough. They are not accepting the fact that we're never going to prosecute our way out of a mental health crisis. We're never going to prosecute our way out of the drug crisis that this community is attacked by. What we have to do is get real about the diversion programs. We've got to model after other agencies and departments that have done it successfully. We've got to get to restorative justice the way that Cook County does in their retail theft programs. We've got to get to the way that Baltimore does it with their drug diversion programs. I've looked at all of these programs. I know the ones that are going to work, and we're going to implement all of them. Thank you all.
The second question. Sometimes people accused of crime, besides celebrities, are political figures or members of law enforcement. Hypothetically, if allegations arise that a criminal charge is politically motivated, how would you handle potential conflicts of interest in prosecuting that case?
First off, nobody's above the law. Everybody is treated equally and fairly through the law, regardless of who you are. Nobody can endorse themselves out of an investigation. Everybody needs to go out there and face it. And I'll tell you this, if it is politically motivated, I'm one person that will go outside, dismiss it, and tell you why. But everybody in the DA's office, everybody down there deserves the exact same treatment. First day, I will go look at every case, including our county judge, and I tell you, if it is a witch hunt, I will dismiss it, come out and tell you why. But I do that for every defendant down there. Everybody deserves to be treated equally and fairly, regardless. We got to hold everybody accountable. Not as law enforcement, it's everybody. Accountability is the issue. We can do this and we can do better, but you need someone with my eyes, because I also know what it means to be a victim. Between the ages of 8 and 15, I was a child victim. Victims don't have a voice anymore. Victims don't have somebody listening to them, and I promise to give you the district attorney that will give victims a voice, and they will listen to them and be there for them, and I'll do everything I can to help our community become a safer place to live. Thank you.
My opponent's right in that everyone deserves the exact same treatment in the eyes of the law. The problem is that his eyes have never seen violent crime. His eyes have never handled serious cases. I have handled everything from capital murders on down to Class C traffic tickets inside that office. I know how to handle each different iteration of the crimes, and more importantly, I've already begun to put in the people that will handle these cases specifically. There can be no political avenues to get inside that office for cases. Full stop. And to suggest anything different is really not doing the service that that office is supposed to do. We all take an oath to see that justice is done in every single case. And that is my commitment to you going forward when I take office. Thank you.
The last question. Texas law dictates that it is the duty of all prosecutors not to convict, but to see that justice is done. What is justice, and what legacy do you hope to leave if you are elected as the Harris County District Attorney?
The legacy that I would like to lead is that no matter where you come from, no matter what walk of life you come in, you can achieve anything and everything. To go from foster care to district attorney in one of the largest counties in the country is, I think, something magnificent that we can send a message that everybody out there, you work hard enough, don't take no for an answer, you can make a difference. And seeking justice comes in many forms, shapes, and sizes. Sometimes justice is simply dismissing a case. Sometimes justice is seeking a diversion program. Sometimes it's jail, sometimes it's prison, sometimes it's the capital cases. And as far as experience goes, I would match my experience up to anybody. 16 years of business experience, being a defense attorney, a real defense attorney for longer than I was a prosecutor. I've freed more minorities from the justice system than my opponent has and anybody else that's run for DA in the last few elections. I can make a difference and I will make a difference. Thank you very much for your time.
Justice is what's right in every case. And I think one of my favorite sayings about the DA's office is that the community should dictate what justice is for types of crimes. But the community can never dictate what justice is for a specific case. Meaning, as we go forward, prosecuting drug cases for simple possession cases is not what this community is asking for anymore. But specific cases are things that have to be looked at and dealt with without regard for political affiliations or pressures from the outside. My legacy inside that office is going to be returning it and creating one of compassion, of empathy, and of competence. And it's something we haven't had in quite a while. Thank you.
The next two questions will be for the Fort Bend Sheriff races. Please introduce yourselves and then answer the question. You will have 1 minute each to give your answer. What specific strategies do you propose to reduce crime in our community, particularly in high crime areas?
Hello, my name is Eric Fagan. I am your Fort Bend County Sheriff. I've created a crime reduction unit. This crime reduction unit is especially specific to areas of crime in Fort Bend that we see a tick go up. We send out officers to that one area and they stay there, not a Band-Aid. They stay there until we get that rate down. I collaborated with the DA's office and the county attorney's office to put on operations to address human trafficking. Arrested over 100 human traffickers in Fort Bend County, rescued over 30 individuals in human trafficking, and shut down over 30 human trafficking operations in Fort Bend. Gang operations, we addressed that. I want to continue that work. My name is Eric Fagan. I want to continue to do the work for people of Fort Bend County to keep us the safest county in the state. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hope y'all are doing well. Thank you so much for hosting this forum today. My name is Marshall Slott, and I'm running to be the next sheriff of Fort Bend County. I'm a Christian, a husband, a father, and a grandfather. I'm a third-generation Fort Bend County resident. 25 of my over 3 decades of law enforcement experience have been serving and protecting Fort Bend County. How would we reduce crime in Fort Bend County? First of all, we need to cooperate with other agencies, not just the sheriff's office. It needs to be a community effort with our other local agencies. When I was commanded a countywide task force to do just that, the crime reduction unit the sheriff spoke of, I ran a countywide reduction unit that was made up of almost all the agencies, the large agencies in Fort Bend County, Texas, for 3 years, answering to a sheriff and 4 police chiefs. I've also got 16 years of business experience, so I want to bring together my law enforcement experience and my business experience to do just that. Protect Fort Bend County, keep it safe for my kids and my grandkids, as well as your kids and your grandkids. Marshall Slott for Fort Bend County Sheriff. Thank you very much.
And for our final question, community policing aims to prevent crime by building relationships with the community. How will you implement community policing practices to build trust and cooperation between law enforcement and the residents?
Community policing is something dear to me. I worked up under Chief Brown, the creator of community policing. I brought mediation to the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office, where a person that have a conflict with an officer can sit down at a table across with that officer to discuss their dispute. I also created a citizens review board, the first time in the history of Fort Bend County, where I have all people come together from the religious community. I have someone from the Republican Party there, someone from the Democratic Party, Muslim, Christian, all sitting at the table to talk about issues that concerns the individuals in the community. Started a JJAX organization to bring youth into the sheriff's office where young people can sit down and speak with the officers who they feel uncomfortable with. We have to bridge the gap with our youth, and we're doing that at the sheriff's office today. I'm the first sheriff to ever bring every law enforcement agency to the office to speak in the history of Fort Bend County.
Thank you so much.
Community-oriented policing is a fancy term that means get to know your community. I've been in our community. I've policed our community for over 25 years. It's about getting to know the people that you work with, the people that you serve. Ultimately, I believe that law enforcement is a service to the community. We answer to the community. So if we're not listening and bringing the community to the table and having an open and honest discussion about what we are doing well and what we might be able to improve, that's how we do community policing. It's about empowering the deputies that serve our communities to get out and recognize that they are servant leaders in our community for every contact that they make in our community. It doesn't always have to be a negative contact. I'm extremely proud of our history in Fort Bend County. We don't have some of the same issues that have existed in other areas. Community-oriented policing is at the heart of everything we do, and I believe that servant leadership, if you follow that servant leadership model, you'll be a servant to the community, which is community-oriented policing. Please vote for me, Marshall Slott, for Fort Bend County Sheriff. Thank you.
Thank you all for your participation in today's forum. You may exit the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please give our participants a round of applause.
On the left, so far in. All right, thank you.
Good morning. Are we still in the morning? We can continue down to fill the seats.
They told them.
Oh, did they? Good. That's even better.
They told me I am the first one.
I just didn't get that memo. That's okay. Let's do it.
Okay.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Welcome. They should switch spots. I'm Jennifer Coy, by the way.
Okay.
My last name does not look like it sounds, but you can call me whatever you want. It's pronounced Coy like boy, but
okay.
Whatever you'd like to say. It's such a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for having us.
Okay, likewise.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here.
I don't want to take it wrong.
Yes, I'll try to. Okay, fine.
There's no microphone.
We'll pass.
Yeah, they'll just move it over. They were supposed to be between every second chair.
Every numbers, but they didn't give me one.
Yeah, between every two seats, the microphones were to be there.
Should we move down there so there's someone up?
On the end, okay. And some of them were, but not enough yet. Where do we sit?
Where do I sit?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Y'all are coming in.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I'm in the wrong side.
I think we play musical chair.
I think we'll.
think we're playing a little musical chair up here, so just give us a minute. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, if I can have everybody's attention here on the stage. Still got a little musical chair. Should we put on some music? Let's see, let's see. We're good now? All right, let's do this thing. All right. So for this round, and this is group 4, and we want you to know that you have 1 minute to answer the question. The timekeepers are here in black, and once they put up the signs, and when we get to stop, I'll just smile. And that means let's end it now, okay? So great. So this is a question that all of you will answer, but I will have you first to state your name and what position you are seeking. And at the end of the question, if you would please say your name again. Some of our audience members are not hearing your name the first time. Is that okay? Okay, here we go. So your question is, what is your perspective on criminal justice reform in Texas, and how should the judiciary address issues like fair and equitable sentencing and rehabilitation? Let's start with Jennifer. Is it Coy? Okay.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Coy, Caugghey, and I'm running for the First Court of Appeals, Place 2. Addressing your question of criminal justice, this court is really important. It covers the final decision maker on 90% of civil and criminal issues. We do not set sentences, but we hear appeals. And we are the ones who make sure, we are your backstop, making sure that the law is followed in every case. And what's most important here is that we have people with experience and lack any agenda who will serve you well. And you can know I have that experience for 2 reasons. One, I already served on this court. You don't have to guess what sort of judge I'll be. I issued 125 rule of law opinions, cleared my docket, and you can see from the vote of the lawyers who practice in this court, who know these judges, they voted 3-1 that they want to see me in this seat. Because in my criminal docket, which was 50%, and in my civil docket, I faithfully applied the law every time. My support is entirely bipartisan. Appeals are the core of what I do. I practice in this court every day, and thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Scott.
Hello, I am Brendetta Scott, First Court of Appeals, Place 2. I've been teaching appellate litigation at Thurgood Marshall School of Law. I'm also an independent hearing examiner for the Texas Education System, which is also the Texas Education Agency, which is also quasi-judicial. As far as how do we handle what's going on with the criminal side as far as the appellate court is concerned? What's important is we're not throwing our children away. We're not throwing our people away. Of course, this court is important because you want to make sure that the law was followed, that the law was properly upheld. What's important is judicial independence. I'm not beholden to anyone or anything other than the law and the statutes of this state. That's important. That's the agenda. That's what we need, and I'm the person for the job.
Thank you so much. Amber Cora. Right behind me. Thank you. Okay. Is your mic on?
Hello. Oh, okay. Good afternoon. My name is Amber Boyd Cora. I am the Democratic nominee for the First Court of Appeals, Place 9. And to answer your question in regards to reform, as far as the Court of Appeals, one of the most important things that we have is making sure that We have neutral, unbiased judges on the bench. And I say this as a lawyer. As a lawyer, the first thing that I want to be able to tell my client is, it wasn't because of the judge, the reason why your case and the law wasn't abided by for your case. So I just want to put that in. My name is Amber Boyd Cora, First Court Appeals, Place 9. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Candidate Countess.
Hi, I'm over here.
It should be on.
Let me try this. Sorry about that. I don't get to use a microphone in my daily job, unfortunately. Hi, everyone. I'm Julie Countess, and I'm currently your judge on the First Court of Appeals, Place 7. I'm a Democrat, and I was elected in 2018, so I'm up for re-election. I'm the incumbent. And the question regarding our criminal cases. So we hear appeals from every trial court in 10 counties. And we don't have any discretion. We take every properly filed appeal. The courts above us, the two highest courts in the state, the CCA and the Texas Supreme Court, they get to pick and choose what they want to hear. And so for everybody in our district, for 90% plus of the cases, we are your last chance for justice. Whether it's a criminal case or a civil case or a divorce, issues that affect your life, your liberty, and your property, it is important to think very hard about who you want making those decisions, what kind of background you want them coming from, what kind of life experience you want to see that they've had.
Thank you so much. Now we will hear from candidate Bridges.
My name is Judge Chad Bridges. I'm judge of the 458th District Court in Fort Bend County. I'm running for 14th Court of Appeals, Place 3. The question was about criminal justice reform and how do you feel about it. Let me tell you about what I've done. I am the judge who presides over our reintegration court docket in Fort Bend County, where we have an 85% graduation rate. I preside over our felony drug treatment court, where I've expanded opportunities for people in that treatment program to help themselves be a better part of our society by bringing in groups like Justice Forward to help support them. As an assistant district attorney, before I was judge, I worked for Brian Melton as one of his chief prosecutors, and I helped him develop the Expose Excellence Youth Program that helps deal with the issue you discussed earlier, the school-to-prison pipeline. It gets kids into opportunities to see what better life could be out there with just a little bit of support. I also helped develop the firearm surrender protocols that we have for protective orders. I'm very proud of that while I was a prosecutor. Again, Chad Bridges, running for 14th Court of Appeals, Place 3. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. If we can hear from candidate Faulkner at this time.
Good afternoon. I am your 14th Court of Appeals, Place 3 Democratic nominee, and my name is Velda Renita Faulkner. I am a 30-plus year trial court veteran, also with civil and criminal appellate experience. I have worked in the communities. I don't come to different organizations just because it's a forum. I am in the communities with my feet on the ground, toes and fingers and hands on the community, the pulse of the community. I am a member of Lily Grove Missionary Baptist Church, and with that, I will tell you that, in fact, I am the candidate that you want because I know what justice means. I represented defendants in the criminal justice system, and I am the one that you want with the trial experience that I have, as well as civil experience that I have. I'm the one that's going to protect you and to have and render impartial decisions. You want someone that has the pulse of the community, and this court has never had an African American ever appointed or elected, and a woman has never sat in this seat. Vote for Velda Renita Faulkner. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Candidate McLaughlin. Do we have candidate Francis? Is it Bullock? Okay. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Frances Borleo. I am running for re-election to the 14th Court of Appeals, Place 5. I was the first former public defender on my court, and I am also the first Asian American woman elected to a statewide appellate court in Texas. I have spent my entire career fighting to ensure that people are treated fairly and equally under the law, and I have continued to do that on the Court of Appeals. We hear, as some of the other candidates have already told you, we are a very important court. We hear cases from 10 counties. It is important to have people with
experience up there and who are also have track records of being fair and neutral. I'm Frances Borleo, 14th Court of Appeals, Place 5. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Margaret Poissant.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Justice Margaret Poissant. I am currently a justice on the 14th Court of Appeals. I'm running for re-election. I did not have a primary opponent. I have experience in both civil trials, civil cases, and criminal defense. It is very important that you have someone that has defense in all areas of the law. You can certainly take a look at all our websites and see our experience. My basic philosophy is the law has to be fair to everyone. There is no one greater than, and there is no one lesser than anyone else. And we are all human beings first. And the more that we work together, and we work in panels of 3 to reach a just result, the better off everyone in our community is. I have to say that during the 2018 election, these seats were all Republican for 25 years. And now we have a majority Democrat on these courts, and what we see is a more considered record, a more considered decision, and a realization that not everyone has had the advantages that everyone else has had.
Thank you so much.
Margaret Poissant, thank you.
Candidate Taylor at this time.
Hello, my name is Holly Taylor, and I'm running for the most important Texas court that most Texans have never heard of. And that's our Court of Criminal Appeals. Texas is one of only 2 states that has 2 Supreme Courts. What we call the Texas Supreme Court only does civil cases. Our Court of Criminal Appeals is our highest court here in Texas for criminal cases. And it is absolutely critical to our criminal justice system and to safeguarding our constitutional rights. To address the first part of your question, is there a problem with our criminal justice system? I think it's self-evident from the statistics. When you look out into the community, when you look at our jails, and when you look at our prisons, that there is not a level playing field. And I think the answer lies with our Constitution and the rule of law and having courts which are independent, impartial, and act with integrity.
Thank you
My
so
name
much.
again is Holly Taylor, running for the Court of Criminal Appeals.
And then we have candidate Wims. Is she not here? Okay. Thank you so much. We are going to have some additional questions here for Justice First Court of Appeal, Place 2, and that's Jennifer Cockley and Brenda Scott. And again, you have 1 minute to respond. To what extent do you believe in adhering to precedents? And do you feel it is ever appropriate to overturn previous rulings?
On the First Court of Appeals, you are an intermediate appellate court absolutely bound by precedent. I will never forget when I came in as a judge in one case. You work on 3-judge panels, which is wonderful. And there was a Texas Supreme Court opinion that was binding on us, and it was unfortunate, but it was binding on us. And I remember going to my panel and somebody said, I want to dissent. And I said, no, you can't. You can concur, but you are absolutely bound by precedent. That is the only way that we have a rule of law system that you can count on. This is an intermediate appellate court. It is bound by its own precedent. It is bound by higher court precedent. So yes, I'm a huge believer in precedent and think it must be followed. Yes. Jennifer Coy, C-A-U-G-H-E-Y. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brendetta Scott, the name says a lot. So what's important here is understanding that precedents matter, right? So we have to look at what the law is and making sure that we are properly interpreting the law and making sure that we apply it across the board equally. But what is also is important is making sure that as far as social justice is concerned, the changes in our economy, the changes in our environment, the changes in our community, are we properly applying the law that applies to the facts of these particular cases? So it is certainly a balancing act, which means we have to look at the law and apply it, right? But we can look at a picture, right? We all can look at a picture, and a picture is worth 1,000 words. I'll say one thing, all of you can say something totally different, which is important about perspective. perspective is important. And what we will do as a panel of 3 sitting as justices, we look at that and we make the decision to make sure that the right law applies to the right set of facts. And if that change needs to be made, then that's what we need to do. Brenda Scott.
Thank you. Okay, then we have a next set of questions here for Justice, First Court of Appeal, Place 3. So this is candidates Chad Bridges and Velda Faulkner. You still have 1 minute. What is your stance on judicial ethics, and how would you ensure that your conduct remains above reproach while serving on the bench? Either one of you can go first. Okay.
I'm currently a judge, and I adhere to all of the rules that we have. I also take extra efforts to make sure I'm thoughtful about following things that adhere to the fairness, the appearance of fairness in what we do. I try to work to where I am collaborative with other judges so that the attorneys who come in understand that it's not just a partisan divide in Fort Bend County. We have partisans divide in our courthouse, but we all work together, and that promotes fairness for all. Also, as to ethics, I go to, I'm board certified in criminal law, which requires more CLE, more continuing legal education, including more ethics education than the average attorney has to follow. And I try to stay ahead of that as part of what I do as a judge. Chad Bridges, running for 14th Court of Appeals, Place 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon again. Ethics and integrity mean a lot. You can take over 30 years to build up your character, and you can allow someone to tear it down in 30 minutes. I don't believe in thinking that justice is for sale, and justice is not to be bought and sold. When you go in a courtroom, even as a defense and plaintiff's counsel or defense counsel in civil cases, you need to understand that the law must be followed. There is no corporation that is higher than one that's a single person. We need to understand, if you want fairness and justice, you need to vote Faulkner for fairness. I do not want any campaign contributions to come to my way and thinking they can buy justice over any one of you in this room. Justice is not for sale, and you need to be able to expect justice from the 14th Court of Appeals, Place 3. I am Velda Renita Faulkner, and I am here to protect your Constitution and civil rights. I will not sell your Constitution and civil rights to anyone, and I will protect I will always protect those who have constitutional rights and civil rights. No one is above the law. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank all of you. At this time, if you could please stand, audience, could you please give them a round of applause? Thank you for attending our forum today, and we wish you all well. If you can go here to the left of the stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Mary.
Fort Bend and Harris, so Harris was Fort Bend isn't something I got. No one from Fort Bend. Hello. Okay. In that position.
Did they give y'all a seat?
Yes, okay.
Okay. I know. We had a little musical chair going on a moment ago. Like,
hello. Everyone's here is counting on Fort Bend here, yes? And you're running for... Got it, thank you. Our tax assessors.
no one told me they weren't here. So you probably want to confirm.
Do you have anyone else? Okay. For this round, the first question will be for the Harris County and Fort Bend tax assessor race candidates. I'd ask you to state your name, position you are seeking, and then answer the following question. You will have 1 minute each to give your answer. How will you ensure fairness and equity in property tax assessments, particularly for low-income and marginalized communities? Ms. Ramirez.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Annette Ramirez, and I am the Democratic nominee for Harris County Tax Assessor. I want to make it very clear that it's very important to have experience in this position. I am a tax attorney, and I have been a practicing tax attorney for the last 23 years. And in that, I have learned how many issues our taxpayers have with their property taxes. And you need someone qualified in that office that can actually reach out to the citizens, educate them on how they can minimize their property tax burden, educate them about exemptions and deferrals, reach out, deal with heirship issues, but also offer more progressive payment plans, allowing folks to escrow their taxes in advance and not allowing them to go delinquent. And those 23 years of experience will allow me to do that on the first day that I get into office. Annette Ramirez for Harris County Tax Assessor Collector.
This next question will be for the Harris County Commissioner Precinct 1 race candidate. Please state your name, position you're seeking, and then answer the following. You will have 1 minute. Please give a specific example of how you plan to work with colleagues on the Commissioner's Court to manage partisan differences and achieve good governance.
My name is Jerry Vanderlyn. I am the Republican candidate for Harris County Precinct 1. And as far as working collaboratively with the people on the commission, Precinct 1 has a cutout where Precinct 4 comes in, okay? So it's my intention to work with Leslie Briones and do some collaborative things for the residents in, all that area. And that's the kind of thing that I would like to do, not only with my colleagues on the Commissioner's Court, but with City of Houston, because the City of Houston wraps around Precinct 1. And so there are things that I can do collaboratively with Martha Castex-Tatum and various other people in the city government. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question will be for the Fort Bend Constable race candidate. Please state your name, position you're seeking, and answer the following question. You will have 1 minute. How will you implement community policing practices to build trust and cooperation between law enforcement and the residents?
Thank you so much. Great question. I'm Patrick Quincy, running for Precinct 4 Constable in Fort Bend County. I think policing starts with community, and it starts with being engaged with our community first and foremost. I think part of the issues of why we have so much mistrust in law enforcement is because we tend to work in silos, and it creates this us versus them mentality. And I think if we spend more time in the community as law enforcement, not just when there's an issue, but to let the citizens know that we're there to help. We need to do programs to where we show the young kids in our community that law enforcement, it isn't just a badge. We aren't just there to take the bad guys away, but we're also there for you and to serve the community. And I think that's very important, and it's paramount to how we're going to keep our community safe.
Thank you. This is a short round. I thank all of you for your participation in the forum. Please give them all a round of applause. You may exit to my left.
Thank you for remaining with us this afternoon. And if you are enjoying all of the participation from those that have come out, put your hands together, because a lot of them are still here, and we want them to know that we are excited that they did show up today to give their positions on what they are standing for. Thank you so much. For the candidates that have just arrived, we just want to remind you that you will state your name, your position, and then you will have 1 minute to respond to the question. If you were not here earlier, the ladies here in the black, they're on this side now. You will see the signs, and when it says stop, I will try to give you a smile and help you round it up so we can move on to the next question. So are we ready? Okay. So question number 1, and again, you have 1 minute. We hear a lot about diversion programs and restorative justice. When balancing punishment with rehabilitation, what is your stance on using these alternatives to incarceration for nonviolent offenders and or those with mental health or substance abuse problems? And we will begin with Ashley Gotsi, is that right? Gotsi? Is it Gotsi? Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Ashley Mays Geis. I'm the Democratic nominee for Harris County Criminal Court at Law number 16. My answer to that question is that diversion programs are critical to enhancing and creating productive people. We don't want to throw away people just because they've made their way through the system. And your question specifically asked for your approach for nonviolent offenders. And I think that is a group where there should be lots of focus to figure out ways to, number 1, figure out how they got into the system, and number 2, how do we make them productive citizens outside of the system? And diversion programs are the perfect alternative there. And so I would say that those are great uses of resources for those with mental health issues and those that you talked about in your question, to be able to meet their needs and then get them back on their feet and hope that their chances of recidivism are erased.
Thank you so much. Let us now go to candidate Johnson to respond.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be here today. My name is Robert Johnson. I am your Democratic nominee for the 177th Criminal District Court. I was actually elected to the bench in November of 2016, so I'm seeking my 3rd term. And as far as nonviolent offenders is concerned, we have several programs to help them out on probation, to rehabilitate them so they can be productive citizens in society after they finish their community supervision period, such as the mental health program, the veterans program, the Young Men About Change program. So there's several programs out there to help our young people that happen to get in trouble, and we're talking about the nonviolent offenders, to give them the tools and resources so they can be productive citizens once they finish their community supervision period. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Candidate King.
Good afternoon. My name is Vivian King. I am your Democratic candidate for the 486th District Court. That's a really good question, but let me just educate you here. Judges don't decide diversions. That's actually decided by the District Attorney's Office. And one of the reasons why I went back to the DA's office was to create pre-charge diversion programs. We've diverted over 10,000 marijuana people. That means anybody in this room could be on a diversion program. There's no booking photo, there's no jail record, there's nothing. So, and also for mental health, pre-charge mental health. Instead of going to jail, they're now going to Harris Health if it's a nonviolent offense. So I am totally in favor of pre-charge diversion and stopping the prison to pipeline system. And I'm also the only board certified criminal law that's running for judge. I'm the 2nd Black female with that honor in Texas. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Candidate Barrow.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stacey Allen Barrow, B-A-R-R-O-W, and I am the Democratic nominee for the 487th Criminal District Court, which is a new court in Harris County, and I currently serve as a felony associate judge in these same felony courts. And every day when I'm on the bench, I see young people coming straight from juvenile court into felony court, anything punishable by a year and up to the death penalty in prison. And if we're not careful, we're going to lose an entire generation of mostly young black boys and black girls if we're not careful. And so where judges do have an opportunity is that through our community supervision program, when we put people on probation, instead of taking a checklist approach, that we really lean in and make sure we connect them to resources that could cut down on the revolving door criminality. That means job resources and on the ground folks who are doing the work already in terms of mentorship, so that we can stop people coming back and forth to court and give them the tools to help them transform their own lives. Stacey Allen Barrow for the 487th Criminal District Court. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, would you put your hands together for these candidates that are with us this afternoon? And you can please stand, and you will exit here to the left of the stage. Thank you again for sharing your time with us today.
I am number 4 on the right side.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
They say facing the stage, right? Okay. If you're facing the stage, this is the right. If you're facing the stage, that's the right. I guess that's number 2 on this side. Number 1. This would be facing the stage, right. Oh, she's up here to show you. She says right next to the podium. This is left. Okay. Okay. That's right. Okay. I think she's coming to show them, right?
Very good. Are we ready? Very good. Thank you. Welcome to our round 7. This involves our judicial district candidates. The first question is going to be for the civil judicial candidate races. I'm going to ask you to state your name, your position you're seeking, and then answer the question. You will have 1 minute to give your answer. What measures do you believe are necessary to protect both consumers and creditors in civil cases, particularly in areas like fraud and contract disputes? Ms. Manor.
Hi, my name is Justice Geraldine Maynor, and I'm presently the presiding judge of the 80th Civil District Court. And I think most importantly, when people file their cases in court, what they need is their day in court. Most people file and they ask for a jury trial. And in the 80th Civil Court, if you ask for a jury trial, you're going to get one. However, if you would like a bench trial, we're always present to do that as well. I think fair and equal representation is really what's needed when litigants come in, especially when one litigant is heavy-handed and the other one is not. As a judge, sometimes we look out in the audience and we can tell if the attorneys are new or if they're struggling, and we try to give them a nudge in the right direction to have the resources that they need available to properly represent their client regardless of their client's economic status. Thank you.
Judge Phillips, same question.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Judge Frederica Phillips, Judge of the 61st Civil District Court, and I want to thank you all for being here and giving us the opportunity to speak with you all. I will say ditto to everything that Judge Manor said, and I will say that also, whenever we have litigants that come before district courts, because usually you're dealing with matters that are of a higher dollar amount than you would get in other courts. So I always recommend, in addition to what she said, is that I usually give out to litigants who don't have attorneys paperwork where they can seek resources for free legal help. Because when you're at the district court level, it's better to be represented than not.
Ms. Perdue?
Good afternoon. My name is Nicole Perdue, and I'm the Democratic nominee for the 133rd Civil District Court. I agree with both of these fine judges and their response, but I also think that it's important that civil trial judges are able to make sure that pro se litigants, you can't be a lawyer for them, but you can make sure that you give them their day in court as well. It doesn't matter what gender they are, what color they are, where they're from. They have a right to be in that courtroom, and you should give them that opportunity even when the other side appears to outlawyer them. Thank you.
Ms. Hughes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Erica Hughes. I am the Democratic nominee for the 151st Civil District Court here in Harris County. It's something to go forth after these ladies. I concur with what my colleague said regarding the right to a jury trial. I believe that is a fundamental right and an important right for individuals, in addition to being represented by an attorney. And again, if you do not have an attorney, to provide the resources to you so that you know where to go to get legal services and possibly hire an attorney. Thank you.
Judge Thornton.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Judge Cheryl Elliott Thornton, Judge of the 164th Civil District Court. And I believe that, yes, everyone has a right to be in court. But before you get to court, before you even think about the fact that you have a dispute, you should keep your paperwork together. That is one of the biggest problems in terms of proof, especially if you're coming in trying to represent yourself. Now, I always note that if you are in district court, which is the highest level trial court in the state, you should not come there alone. We, as we sit on the bench, cannot teach you the law, but when we see a pro se or self-represented litigant, you do want to kind of at least encourage them and help them to some small degree, the same way as you would, like, say, a baby attorney. So I was helped as a baby attorney, and I tried to pass that on as well. But I am Cheryl Elliott Thornton, Judge of the 164th Civil District Court.
Thank you so much, Judge. Judge Palmer.
Hello, I'm Judge Elaine Palmer of the 215th Civil District Court, and I'm seeking re-election to the 215th. And in response to your question, I echo what my colleagues have said, but also to address the issue where you said about fraud. I always make sure that the party, the defendant, is the proper party that was served. Because a lot of times, as you say, there may have been some fraud that took place. And as Judge Thornton said, in regards to making sure people have their day in court, we try, or at least I try to make sure that they have served the proper party and that person has the opportunity to come in and defend themselves to determine whether they were actually the defendant or did some fraud actually take place. Thank you all. I'm Judge Elaine Palmer, the 215th Civil District Court. Thank you all.
The next question is for the probate judicial candidate race. Judge Watson, please introduce yourself and then answer the question. You will have 1 minute. What changes, if any, would you advocate for to streamline the probate process and reduce delays for families?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Judge Fran Watson. I'm the presiding judge of Harris County Probate Court number 5, which is a newly created court that opened this past September. As stated in the question, thank you for the question, people are visiting the probate court during some of the most difficult times of their lives. They've lost a loved one, or someone may need, they may not be able to care for themselves, or a family member and a guardian is needed. And so to streamline that process, it's really about using the technology that we all have today. Making sure that people are able to go on, parties can go online and schedule these hearings, because we're going to hear hearings. These hearings continue to go. And when there are contested cases, because unfortunately there are disagreements when it comes to people's assets, then what we do is use technology to have a ticker put in place so that if a case is stalled, we can get a status conference so we can have access to the court to see what's going on, to see how we can get this moving along. So it's really about using what we all use all the time to move these cases forward. Judge Fran Watson, Harris County Probate Court number 5.
This last question is for the family judicial candidate race. I would ask you that you please introduce yourself and answer the question. You will have 1 minute to give an answer. Oh, looking in the wrong direction. How do you balance the best interest of the child in custody and support cases when handling domestic violence cases? And what measures would you implement to protect victims, ensure due process for the accused, and prioritize the child's welfare?
Thank you so much. My name is Lillian Alexander, and I'm the Democratic nominee for the 507th Family Court here in Harris County. Thank you so much. What's important about that question is when we think about children, we have to think with compassion. Children do not ask to be in many of the circumstances that they are in. Children do not ask to be put through trauma. So if elected to this bench, I will be, number one, listening through a lens of compassion, understanding that an abuser is an abuser and we must treat them as such. Number two, thinking through the emotional well-being of a child, because before the age of 5 years old, a child's emotional well-being is one of the most important things we can protect. So if elected to this bench, protecting the honor of these children and their emotional trauma and getting people to justice with compassion is the most important thing that we can do in a family court setting.
Thank you.
Lillian Alexander for the 507th District Court. Thank you all.
Thank you. Audience, if you could please give our participants a round of applause. Thank you all for your participation in today's forum. You may kindly exit the stage. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Okay.
Y'all want us, since it's just two of us, you want us to both sit on the same side, or you want us to divide the side?
She's the moderator on this one. I would say
Wanda Adams.
I'll take your seat. It's okay.
They pull your chair over.
They did.
Okay, and then you can sit right next to her. Okay. Okay, Kim is.
You want them on the same side?
Is it Kim?
Okay. Is she okay over here? Okay. Thank you for coming. Oh, Lord.
Okay, like Paul. Gotcha. Okay, so just 3. Okay. Thank you all for your patience again. We do want to acknowledge at this time our Fort Bend County Tax Assessor, Carmen Turner. If you're in the house, would you, yes, wave your hand. Thank you so much. Okay, we're here at the final round. And we want to share with our candidates, if they were not here earlier, you will state your name, the position, and in which you're running. You will also have 1 minute to respond to the question, and please restate your name at the end of answering the question. Okay? Are we good? All right. So, the question that each one of you are asked to respond to is, how would you address truancy and juvenile delinquents, and what strategies would you implement to support at-risk youth and ensure that they receive fair and constructive intervention? And we will start with Judge Wanda Adams.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say good afternoon to everyone. I am Judge Wanda Adams, and I am the presiding judge of JP 7-1, and I did not have a Democratic primary opponent. And one of the things that I would like to say, being elected now for over 16 years and serving Precinct 7 for over 25 years, it is an honor to be up here. One of the things that we are doing in JP 7-1 to affect truancy is that at least every other month I am attending our area high schools and our area middle schools, not alone, but I also take the DA with me. So they would have the opportunity and the parents to be educated on the truancy laws that are in the state of Texas. So mentoring is a key, and we make sure that we look for every other avenue among our truancy so they will not have a conviction on their record, be as community service. So some of the things that we are doing in the past 3 years that I've been on this bench, mentoring, partnering with our area high schools and middle schools in HISD, and some of the ones that are some of our early childhood programs as well. Thank you, and I am Wanda Adams, the presiding judge of JP 7-1.
Thank you so much. And we will hear from candidate Ofuoni.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kyera Ofuani, a nonprofit attorney, and I am running for Justice of Peace Precinct 7, Place 1. I believe that the best way to attack this situation is to provide more community resources and also just collaborating with nonprofit organizations in general. As a nonprofit attorney, I'm always with grassroots organizations that are looking to do programming to help students and parents with things of this issue. Most of the students that are not attending school or that are getting these violations are simply because they don't have resources at home, whether it is food or their financial situation and things of that nature. So really just making sure that we're putting community first, asking them what they need. If it's food, providing them with the food they need. If it's jobs, having that type of program to immerse them into entrepreneurship or having a job. And I believe that that would be a sustainable way to help that problem, make sure that doesn't happen in the future. Again, I am Kyera Ofuani, and I'm running for Justice of Peace, Precinct 7, Place 1. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if we can hear from candidate Kemp.
Thank you. My name is Japala Kemp. I am running for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2, Place 2 in Fort Bend County. How I would address that issue, the majority of the time you have to find out what is actually going on with that actual student or youth. Sometimes it may be something like mental health. Sometimes it may be something like ADHD. When you have children who suffer from mental illness or attention deficit disorder, a lot of times they will not go to class. There's something else going on with them that they do not want to attend class. And so I plan on being present, for one, in the school districts. When I don't have docket days, I will be at the schools. I will be participating closely with the administrators and making sure that I'm present and know what's going on with my actual students who are coming into the justice system.
Okay, thank you so much. I have one more question for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 7, Place 1 candidate race. Judge Wanda Adams and candidate Ofuoni. So you have 1 minute again to respond to this. How would you handle eviction cases to ensure a fair process for both landlords and tenants? And what steps would you take to address the potential impact to evicted families?
Thank you for that question. Again, I'm Kyra Ofuwani. I'm a nonprofit attorney and I'm running for Justice of Peace, Precinct 7, Place 1. When it comes to housing is a really big issue in the city of Houston in general. And so to make sure that it's fair, that there's an even playing field, I do believe that we need to focus on pro se litigant resources. So whether that's adding technology so that there's resources for them to use AI tools to draft the motions that they need, or having legal clinics and workshops to make sure that they are adequately able to represent themselves in court. That is one way, but also with the landlords, making sure that they get those resources as well, because some landlords may not be able to afford an attorney. And so making sure everyone has access to that is one way. And then another way of sustainability is to provide housing programs, whether there's vouchers, letting people know about knowledge of grant funding and different things of that nature, to make sure that we can help them be sustainable, because that's ultimately the goal, to utilize the community to save us, because we can do all that we can do in fair playing field of judgments, but we need to involve the community. Thank you. Kyra Ofuwani, Precinct 7, Place 1.
Thanks.
Thank you. Would you please repeat the question one more time for me, please?
I will. How would you address truancy and juvenile delinquency? And what strategies would you implement to support at-risk youth and ensure that they receive fair and constructive intervention? I'm sorry, I gave you that a moment ago. How would you handle eviction cases, now we're in the right area, to ensure a fair process for both landlords and tenants? And what steps would you take to address the potential impact to evicted families?
Thank you so much. How I will handle the cases as current judge is following the law. We do have civil procedures that are in place that we have to govern by, whether you're a pro se litigant or you are the landlord or the plaintiff. Being an impartial judge, regardless of what side of the field that you're on, we have to follow those civil procedures that are before us. And what we are doing in JP 7-1 for the past 3.5 years, we have our sustainability initiative in JP 7-1, which we partner with Texas Southern University, University of Houston, Lone Star Legal, WorkSource Solutions, civic engagement. I can go on and on about our resources that we actually have in our courtroom every week to provide jobs, training, GED, workforce solutions, education. They partner with Houston Community College. But I tell everyone, they talk about rental diversion. There's no such thing as diversion. What we have to do is sustain these families, get them jobs, get them educated so they will not face the eviction process again. So we've been recognized by Fox 26 News, Channel 13, KHOU, for all the sustainability services that we provide.
Thank you.
I am Wanda Adams, JP 7-1 presiding judge. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please give them a round of applause. And you all can stand at this time and exit left side of the stage. Thank you so much. This has been an awesome afternoon. If you agree, please put your hands together. And thank you for staying with us to the end. Many of you have been here since the very beginning. What we would like to say is that Houston and Fort Bend, we appreciate your presence today. So give yourselves a round of applause, because you have really showed up here today. And we encourage you to go out and make your voices be heard at the polls. Get out and vote. I'm not talking just to the choir, but hopefully you are speaking to your family members and to your community, because the 2024 election, as we know, you must exercise your right to vote. So please scan the QR code on the program, and that will give you all the essential information about the candidates that were here today, and even give you election information. So we want you to make use of that. So as we bring to the mic at this time, to the right of the stage, we have our closing, and I thank you by Stacy Fulmiter and Tracy Fletcher. Again, thank you for your time.
Good evening. I am Stacy Taylor Fulmiter, and I have both the honor and privilege of serving as the president of the Alpha Kappa Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
And I am Tracy M. Fletcher, the proud president of the Houston Metropolitan Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Incorporated.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying with us. And as we come to the close of the United for Democracy Candidate Forum, we'd like to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to each of you for your participation today. It has been both inspiring and uplifting to witness your engagement and enthusiasm around the democratic process.
So voting is not just our right, it is our duty. It is our opportunity to express our values, advocate for our communities, and influence the direction of our nation. Every vote matters, and history has shown us that elections can be decided by a remarkably small number of votes. This is why it is essential for each of us to make our voices heard at the ballot box. So some of our 2024 election reminders. The last day to register to vote is October 7th. The last day to request a mail-in ballot is October 25th. Early voting is October 21st through November 1st, and Election Day is November 5th. So please visit our voter readiness tables in the front lobby for any assistance or questions that you may have.
Before we go, we would like to acknowledge and thank both of our moderators. Ladies, if you could come forward. You ladies have represented us well, both patient, poised, and professional. We appreciate your service and thank you for keeping us on track and organized today.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. I think it's always a good picture.
Okay, look and take a picture with y'all skill. Come on, Tracy. Brittany, you got it? Thank you.
Thank you all for coming out and supporting this forum. Can we get the steering committee to come to the front for a group photo? And please click the QR code for